how do you, from your perspective, know if you are making like exercising free will, which I don't think most people do most of the time. I think it's
Yeah.
very hard to do, especially if you know anything about priming and psychology. Like it's actually
Yeah.
really tricky to be in a space where you're truly making a decision from free will, or if you're making a decision based off of unconscious patterns or self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Like how do you know when you're making those
That's
choices?
I think that's really hard to do.
Mhm.
And I think it takes a lot of self-evaluation and also slowing down. I think that a lot of people do things really fast because we have this like sense of we're running out of time, especially as you get older.
Mhm.
It's like if you're in your 30s and you're dating, you're like, oh my
TikTok.
TikTok. Like if you, especially if you have, like I haven't had kids yet. I'm 31. I'm like, but I have to remind myself, slow down. Like with today's modern technology, I could have kids up until I'm 40. I'm good.
Mhm.
And that has been a big thing for me of not going so fast that I can't evaluate what's happening and recognize those patterns. When I slow down, I'm a lot better at it, but it's taken me to actually figure out what are my patterns.
Mhm.
I've had to do a lot of therapy, journaling, lots of courses, lots of book reading, and literally self-evaluation of, okay, what is it that I'm doing? What pattern? I clearly have some patterns because if you look at like my dating history, it is a lot of patterns. And I
Mhm.
had to kind of pull back and take some time to myself to just evaluate what's going on here. Why do I keep kind of rinse and repeating? Even with friendships too, there was like a cycle I was in with some friendships, and I was like, okay, what is that all about? And just taking a deeper look at where I was maybe people pleasing or choosing to neglect me in order to feel like I fit in.
Mhm.
So, like, for me, when I was a teenager, I felt like I had a hard time fitting in because I was like an emo cheerleader in a small town school that it
Same,
just
same.
didn't make sense. I didn't really fit anywhere. Like, I kind of fit, but not really.
Mhm.
So I always felt displaced. I also was dealing chronic illness, so a lot of people didn't understand me because I was sick a lot. So I was like, I would miss a lot of school. So I was like, my sense of belonging, that really was a struggle for me. So as an adult, that has showed up in various ways where sometimes I've maybe self-sabotaged in certain ways or said yes to things I wouldn't have normally said yes to, or even like kind of molded myself to fit into what I thought people wanted me to be.
Mhm.
And really just going through this, like, I went through this really big death and rebirth season the last couple of years and letting all these layers fall away and just choosing like, okay, I'm going to be me and I'm going to evaluate who I am, like studying myself, like through astrology, human design, therapy, you know, going back into my inner child. Literally, I moved back in with my family, which was huge for me, for a period of time to just get back to my roots, to discover me again
Mhm.
without all the noise. My parents live in a small town. So it was like, not a lot of social outside interaction. So it was very more isolated into my cocoon. And that allowed me to see myself in a huge way. And then as I've navigated, like, spreading my wings again and coming back online after I took that time off of basically life, I realized how much there was a lot in my life that wasn't aligned, that I
Mm.
wasn't choosing. And that it's like I was choosing it, but it wasn't like my highest self in charge saying, "Yeah, I'm using my free will to be in this situation."
Mhm.
And so then I had to kind of pull back and just take things slower.
Mhm.
My life is still very fast, but as far as like doing relationships, I try to just not put the cart before the horse. I try to just let it lead itself and I take things for what they are. If I see something that I don't like, I name it to myself. I have this rule now with dating, 3 strikes you're out. Like if I
Mm.
see 3 major issues, red flags, or just like misalignments,
Mhm.
I can't. I won't do it. And I will just be like, "Hey, like it's just not working for me," and I will move on because I don't wanna waste time anymore. Wi It's like I wanna take my time, but I don't wanna waste my time with the wrong person
Mhm.
because I feel like life is too short to try to force something. If something's not naturally flowing and those like core values aren't aligned and the respect isn't there or, those major flaws, like for example, like I can't be with somebody that doesn't understand that I have an OnlyFans.
Right.
And I'm not going to have it forever, but if they can't understand that that's what's helping me fund my entire music career, like, what am I supposed to do there? You know, that's not
Right,
going
and
to
you
work.
can't undo it either, so now that it's already
No.
done,
And I'm
it's
not gonna be shamed for what I've done. Like,
right.
it's just you can love that I'm a wild, crazy woman or not.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's kinda just like I'm so happy with myself too that I'm like, I'm not in a rush to have somebody there. That codependency is gone for me, which
Mhm.
is so huge because I used to be extremely codependent.
Mm. See, mine was always the opposite. Have been toxically independent.
Uh,
Yes, I'm one of those. So when you talk about how you've had seasons of being, in baby or inner child, I'm like, I can't relate at all because I don't
uh,
even from my first memories, like, my first memories, I was about a year and a half, and even from then, I was always, like, myself, like, "I've
uh,
got this, and I've got everyone around me." I kind of had that feeling, so
yeah.
even from baby, I've never been baby, so for me, that was
Wow.
not available at all, like,
That's
that's
interesting. Have you
not
ever
option.
explored, like, submissive kink?
I would think I would love that. I have never been with, like, a dominant man, which
Mm.
is also like, it's this thing I'm not currently navigating. I have never been with a
Yeah.
dominant man in, like, a relationship,
Mhm.
and then I wonder why it doesn't work, you know? And then we go back to the polarity, but that's
Yeah.
because I need someone who can handle me. I need someone who could like and I think that also goes to the role of what masculinity actually is when we talk about providing.
Mhm.
It's not money. Like, sure, that's easy. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
low-hanging
one
fruit.
tiny part of it.
No, it's, like, you are supposed to be the rock that the feminine crashes on, right? Like, they're
Yeah.
the rock and you're the wave.
Yeah.
And I think the job of the woman is to kinda test the strength of the man, and the job of the man is to hold space for the woman.
Yeah. I
And
always say to be an oak tree.
mhm.
Like, if I ever gave men the number one piece of advice is if your woman is upset, just sit there like an oak tree, plant your roots, and just let her
Be
have
the
her
storm.
storm.
Mhm.
And then the storm's gonna calm. And then she's gonna lean against you and she's gonna be like, I'm sorry. And it might last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Mhm. No, I agree, and it's like, don't try to fix it. Most of
No.
the time, women don't want that, but,
No.
yeah, so, yeah, fiercely independent, and for some reason, I think that's always been my pattern is, like, finding men that are
Mm.
not necessarily, like, in their masculine or
Yeah.
they're in a neutral or even in, like, in a feminine, and that's why I was asking, like, can you change polarity or can you fix it? Because I don't think so. I do agree,
Yeah.
like, both people need to be in it, and if not, like, there's 0 chance. There's 0 chance if both
Yeah.
people
I
aren't
think there's some
actively
people
working.
that, like, for example, if we're going into the kink space,
Yeah.
like, some people are not going to feel confident enough
Mhm.
to be a dom.